Well, good day to all my friends out here. You know, life is pretty good over here in small town America. Flyover country, you might call it. But, getting ready to go to work. Gotta pay the bills. Thought I'd shoot a quick video and tell a good story about a good old friend of mine. He's 98 years old now, but he lived out in the country when I lived out in the country. Now I live in town. I'm a city slicker. I hate that, but it's a small town. And anyways, my stories are long and possibly boring, but sorry about that. But anyways, so when the first time I met him, I was out hunting and I shot a deer. Oh, I had me some good antelope steak for breakfast. Boy, was that fine. Anyways, I shot a deer and I was going up the road, going to go to where my friend's house was, to see if he could go drag it out for me. And here I met this old guy driving a team of horses with a buckboard down the road, and he asked me what I was doing, and I told him, oh, I shot a deer over there. And he said, oh, I can drag it out for you. So he went, drove his old buckboard out there, or drove his old horses over there, and went out on the unhitched one of them and took it out and found the deer and drug her on out for me, and that was pretty cool. But anyways, now he ended up having to move into town. He's 98 years old now, but a few years ago, oh, by the way, I was smoking John Aylesbury, I believe it's called, Luxury Flake. It's 10 years old. Decided to try. I traded for a little tobacco and I wanted to get some aged Virginia to try it. Anyways, so he hikes past here quite a bit, but I thought I'd tell a quick story about it was just a few years ago. Yeah, I used to be a pretty good hand with a horse and a rope, but this guy, he was always a top-notch cowboy all his life, and he could ride anything that had hair on it. And it was just a few years ago. He was out, in the Brandon calves, roping calves and dragging them to the fire as good as anybody. But until his shoulders started hurting. But anyways, then after that, he was riding horses at the sale barn for a while. And basically what you do is you go around, you chase cattle down the alleyways, and you open gates and move them in, and you do that off a horse. And his horses were all driving horses, so that he had at the time. So my friend had a saddle horse that he'd borrow, or any saddle horse. He has a number of horses. And so there was two horses in a pen, and he told my old friend Jim. The reason why I thought of him, because he walks by here quite often, so I talked to him a little bit. He's pretty hard of hearing right nowadays, but he's 98 years old, and he claims there ain't nothing wrong with it other than his ears. Anyways, so he needed a horse that day, and so my friend told him, oh, go to this pen over here by my house and grab the whatever horse out of this pen. There's two horses in the pen. Well, he called him up old Jim called my friend up about half a day later and said, "This horse don't act like it's ever been ridden." And my friend asked, "So what's the deal?" He says, "Oh, it's been bucking around on me all day and going rearing back on his hind legs and just whatever." But I mean, he'd been riding it for half a day and he was able to get the job done. My friend said, "Well, which horse you riding?" And old Jim told him what color it was, and my friend told him, "Well, that horse never has been ridden." So just funny how he put in a half a day's work on a horse that had never been ridden, and it was I mean, only a top hand could do that in the conditions he was doing it in, because it wasn't like just going out in a pasture and getting it to do whatever, and the thing was bucking around and acting pretty crazy, because a horse that's never been on, that you haven't done anything with, and just get on it and ride it like that. Normally, I mean, it's not something for a greenhorn, that's for sure, but for a 90-some-year-old guy, it wasn't no biggie. Anyways, I'm gonna go to work. You guys have a good day. Let's all be thankful. It's a beautiful day here. Hopefully you all like where you're living as much as I like where I am.